3, 2024. Let's get into it. After a bold prediction for the Sacco to win our opening game, your commish went 1-0. Could he do it in back-to-back weeks? Well, this week the commish took his cap bro and his draft bro Cooper to beat Dre and Fat Gandalf. He was pretty confident in the pick and stood by revolting against our AI overlords from our draft review. He stood in support of the Pocket Dogs, and he continues to do so. So Thursday night, as the games were coming through, it was not looking good. I said that Cooper's biggest weak point was his second running back. That was Chuba. A couple others said he might even get replaced. Well, he did. Cooper took my advice and replaced him. The problem is he went with Jalen Wright, who had a whopping 4 yards on Thursday night. So started off a little rough. Going into Sunday, didn't get much better. I thought Cooper Kupp would be another big scorer for Cooper. He got hurt. So 2 players, basically 0. I think 4 points total between them. But the biggest letdown was Goff. Goff, known as the Dominator last year. I mean, just absolutely rolled in home games at the Dome. Quick fun fact, Laporta didn't catch a single TD outside of a Dome last year. I mean, so every time they were at home, Goff was basically good for 2 touchdowns. Getting an injured Tampa Bay secondary, Goff was really my lock of the week. I thought, going into it, no way he doesn't do well. Then he gets 55 attempts. He had to do well. No, 55 attempts only led to 300 yards, no touchdown, and 2 interceptions. So missed big on a couple of Cooper's players. Really not looking good. But wait, the stacks come through. Like I said at the draft, stacks matter. They make or they break you. Well, Goff wasn't good. He was stacked with Amon-Ra, and Amon-Ra was pretty good. He had 23 points. Also said I loved Cooper's stack of Kyler and McBride. Well, they came through and got Cooper 56 points. Meanwhile, I was pretty down on the middle directions, pun totally included, and everything I thought pretty much came through. I said the Pittsburgh stack was going to be a complete dud. Again, stacks kill you or they make you. They killed them here. I think they combined for 6 points. Now, I also said, wait, hold on. Pittman wasn't going to produce with Richardson, who threw 3 interceptions. Shocking. He's a bad quarterback. I don't trust Pittman at all this year. The Philly stack was pretty good, which is pretty much what I said. They combined for 40, so not bad at all, but about what you expect out of a top 3 quarterback. And I guess I would call Saquon a top 5 running back. I mean, he's certainly up there this year. So that's about what you expect. Nothing crazy there. So what's the end result? Commish goes 2-0, baby. The Pocket Dogs take this one by 34. Cooper just unloaded that boom stick while the middle erections went completely flaccid. They only scored about 130 points, which is fairly average. But Cooper got in that 160-point range. So Commish 2-0 on the year. Moving on to week 3. We're going to preview My Money Chad, changing his team name again, and the Shannon Sharps Mike. Both teams are 2-0, but both teams have also suffered significant injuries. If hospitals were frequent flyer miles, these guys would have enough points to get round-trip tickets to Bora Bora for their entire teams. These matchups feature Hollywood Brown, Marshawn Lloyd, Tua, Rachaad White, Debo, Kenneth Walker, and Puka. That is a lot of injuries to contend with. So why are we previewing this game? Well, getting 2 early wins mean a lot. Both teams are 2-0, so their playoff chances are certainly helped by starting that. Hopefully they can get through these injuries. But my prediction is this game makes or breaks a team. I think the losing team may see a streak coming where the winning team ends up 3-0, and even if they have a streak, they still have a shot at the playoffs. Mike is currently favored by 12, but Chad doesn't have anyone in his super flex spot right now. Technically, he has Tua, but he's just been put on the IR, so somebody's going to fall into that spot. So why this matchup? it's if you include, say, 15 points in that super flex spot. I mean, this is the closest game of the week. Also, the two teams are mirroring each other, so suck it up. Every week is not going to be a barn burner. Some of us like a good defensive battle, so let's preview these two shit sippers. All right, quarterback. Chad has C.J. Stroud and Tua, and the Sharks come in with Lamar and Cousins. Considering Tua's going to the IR, the edge is pretty obvious here to Mike. Let's assume Chad gets Andy Dalton, or maybe he accepts one of my trade offers. Buddy, Fields, Darnold, heck, Burrow, they're all on the table. Who do you want? Come get them. All right, so if you factor in something like that as a starter, even if it's, like I said, an Andy Dalton or somebody, this is a much closer matchup. Mike trots out the reigning MVP in Lamar. He's also a perpetually difficult fantasy player to own. He might score 40, he might score 4. It doesn't matter if he plays a good defense. It comes through with running. That's impossible to predict or know, and there really isn't any rhyme or reason for it. But this year seems a little different. Lamar in the first 2 games has attempted 34 and 41 passes. His career average is around 22 attempts per game. If this becomes a trend, I can see Lamar actually having a higher floor than he has in the past. Usually a floor comes with that rushing game, but if he can actually get the ball in the air a little bit more, I think he might have a better year than I anticipated, even with a bad defense. So the problem is he gets Dallas. Pre-draft, I was pretty confident both in Dallas's offense and defense, but that defense does not look as good as advertised. However, Baltimore's offensive line looks atrocious. They look bad. This is not the Baltimore of 5-8 years ago. This is the week Micah Parsons should get going. Again, it's Lamar, so I'll pencil him in for 25. But who knows? But I'll take him out at 25. Now, Mike also trots out the most consistent quarterback for the past probably 5 years, and Kirk Cousins. Guy just finishes number 11 every year. However, he's coming off an Achilles injury, and shocking, he had 9 points week 1, clearly playing injured or recovered. So he had a terrible game week 1, and then he had another terrible game going into the fourth quarter this week. But he ends up with a 40-yard bomb for a TD. Then, on the last drive, 1 minute and 30 seconds left, is a 70-yard game-winning drive and a touchdown. Those 2 plays alone or drives puts him over the 20 points. So, points against the prevent you from winning defense still count. I just think his 24 points this week are a little deceiving, and he gets Casey's pass rush, which on paper has been bad the first 2 weeks. They've allowed the second most fantasy points. So statistically bad, but I think statistically an anomaly. Casey's defense is still very good. Chris Jones is still wrecking havoc. I think Cousin comes in under the 20-point mark this week. Unfortunately for Chad, Stroud goes against Minnesota. Now, they've looked better at home, and it is at home this week for Minnesota. They're giving up some yardage, but they have the 30th lowest points allowed to quarterbacks. So I still believe in Stroud. With Mixon banged up, Stroud's going to need to throw. I think he puts this game on his shoulders and goes for at least 2 touchdowns. So I'll pencil in Chad, for 15 points with his super flex. Edge here, I think clearly goes to Mike. If Mike wins this week, this is his biggest advantage. I think this is where he wins. Running backs, we've got Rachaad White and Ramondre versus Kyren and J.K. Dobbins. This is a good one. I said in the preseason, I stand by it, Rachaad White sucks. He's just bad football. He's not good. However, he does get targets. I'll pencil him in for 10 points basically every week. If he gets a touchdown, clearly he has his best week. However, I think Bucky Irving, the rookie, eats into some of his playing time and possibly steals a few TDs throughout the year, and that's just devastating to Rachaad White. They're clearly putting it on the back of Baker. They've drafted another playmaker in McMillan. I don't know. I just don't like White. Call me a hater or whatever. I just don't think he's very good. So I don't know. 10 points at most, I think, out of him. I do like Ramondre because let's be real, Captain Roast Beef is not throwing the ball in England. So I think every week's game plan is going to be around playing defense and running the ball. But they're going up against the Jets, and I just cannot imagine any sort of breakout game against Ramondre. For Ramondre. So, I don't know, not great here. The names look good, and they look good in the preseason, but they're not panning out. Mike just has, a huge advantage here, right? He's got to have a huge advantage. Wrong. Mike is also running up against a buzzsaw. J.K. Dobbins has been nothing short of fantastic. He's had 20-point back-to-back weeks. I mean, he's the man, right? Well, he's going up against the Steelers. Now, think what you want about the Steelers' offense, but that defense is still pretty good. At least the run defense is still pretty good. Very good run stuffers. I don't know how much JK is going to get done this week. I actually think they might try to pound it more with Gus Edwards. I just think they end up splitting like they did this week. If you didn't notice, well, JK had way more yards. He was actually out-carried by Gus Edwards, so Gus Edwards had one more carry than J.K. Dobbins. So, I don't know. I just don't see a lot coming there. And then Kyren should get a ton of work with both Puka and Kupp, right? Yeah, I guess, but he's also going to see a bunch of 8-man fronts. Like, are you going to cover Demarcus Robinson, who's probably the best receiver left? No. I'm stuffing that box, man. There's no way I'm letting Kyren just run. So it's not going to surprise me if Kyren ends up in this game. So I'm going to take Mike, but it's closer than it should be. So we'll move on to the wide receivers. We've got Tyreek, JSN, and Shaheed versus Wandale, Terry McLaurin, and Demarcus Robinson. I think this is about as lopsided as the quarterback matchup. Tyreek may not have two, but if you're the backup quarterback, and you know this is your only chance to let it fly, who you throwing it to? Wouldn't it be Tyreek? I'm getting that man the ball, every play. So, is there a 30-point upside anymore with Tyreek? Yeah, probably not. That's gone. But is he going to score under 15? I don't think so. I think he just gets fed every week. It's kind of similar to the Justin Jefferson situation. I just think he's going to get his. You want to talk about the rest of the Dolphins' offense? Maybe not, but Tyreek should. JSN got his first 100-yard game last week after a 20-yard outing. I've been saying I like Seattle. I like the new coordinator. I just like the fact that they lost their old coordinator and he's in Chicago. Oh, look, surprise, Chicago's offense isn't very good. Maybe there's a common denominator here. But going back to Seattle, their passing offense is going to be solid. The problem is I don't think it's good enough to support 3 wide receivers every week. So while Lockett looked good the first week, well, now JSN looks good the second week, I'm not really sure how to tell it's going to be a JSN or a Lockett week. I think JSN ends up being a boom-bust receiver. End of the year numbers might look good, but I'm not really sure how you predict it. So I'm not really sure what to do with JSN here. Noah is rolling with Carr. He might be getting all the credit, but Shaheed has been the cog in this passing game, not Olave. Will that continue all year? I doubt it. But stay in the flames, man. Carr is hot, and while Pittsburgh's rush defense is good, pass defense is not. I think Carr eats again. He is going to throw the ball up. If that happens, Shaheed should have a pretty decent week. And if he gets a touchdown, which I think he might, I'm lock of the week. No, but I think it's close. I like Shaheed's chances. Mike lines up the Islands of Misfit Toys at his wide receiver spot. Wandale, I guess he was fine last week, but everybody's fine against Washington. I don't trust Daniel Jones to do anything. Demarcus Robinson might be the best receiver on the Rams. He should get some targets, but he gets the Niners this week. Yuck. Scary Terry might be good in real life. I agree. But he's got Cliff Kingsbury. He is just proving not to be very good. Most of his offense is running really short routes that just haven't panned out very well at any point in his career in the NFL. Combine that with a rookie quarterback, I just, upside limited for Scary Terry. So I think here there's a big edge to Chad. I have most of his players having down weeks, but if even one of them has a good week, I mean, he gets a big edge here. If Chad wins this week, I think it's the wide receivers. The tight end in the flex, we got Kincaid and Jameson Williams versus Kittle and my man Monty, David Montgomery. So, dang, man, we saved the best for last. I like this group. We've got Detroit, two Detroit players. They get a terrible zone of pass rush. They might have the worst pass rush in the league. Goff let me down 2 weeks in a row, but I'm back in. I don't care. I'm in on Detroit's offense in general against a bad defense. I also like Tyler in Zona's defense, so they should put up some points. So this single game could swing this matchup, because I'm not going to be surprised if Monty gets 2 touchdowns from the goal line and JMO does nothing. That could happen. But generally, when I've got 2 players in the same game, I'm going to bet on the wide receiver. The running back, he's going to be more dependent on those touchdown runs. So I'm going to take JMO with an edge here, but I could certainly be wrong. While Kincaid was a draft season darling, he has combined for a total of 9 points in 2 games. That's terrible. So, of course, he's out, right? Now, he gets the struggling Jags, and I know we got some hometown Jag guys in here, but I don't know, man. I think Josh Allen's good and it's going to spread around the ball. So, is there a lot of upside to Kincaid? Probably not. But I'm not going to be surprised at all if he gets a touchdown in this game. On the other side, we got Kittle. Kittle drafted after Kincaid for the most part. But that was because when you drafted Kittle, we thought there was going to be C-Mac, we thought there was going to be Ayuk, we thought there was going to be Debo, we thought Parasol might play. Almost all those guys are out. Kittle is going to be asked to do a lot more in the passing game now, and he gets a terrible Rams defense. So my lock of the week for a touchdown is definitely Kittle. I just think he's going to be a big part of the Niners' game plans until they get healthy, which I think we've been saying for a long time. So Edge is definitely going to Mike in this matchup. So, who's the king of the Walking Dead? It's Mike. Mike, you are officially Rick Grimes. You are going to rule over Zombieland. You're going to take Negan down, unlike, Rick Grimes. So maybe I should call you Daryl? I don't know. I'm not really sure. Anyway, that's it this week, folks. Let's see if I can stay undefeated. Play me out, TJ. Peace out.